Hello and welcome to this new video. It's a pleasure for me to see you here and what we want to talk about today. Today I want to talk about the security topic domain takeover. Domain takeover and subdomain takeover, and I want to explain how this works, what are the different attack vectors and what you can do to protect yourself against it. And if you are interested in this, then you are exactly right here now. By the way, my name is Sven Ruppert. I'm from Germany. I'm developer advocate for JFrog, but right now I'm here in the Swedish forest and woods, and I'm in a big national park. It's a hiking trip, approximately 7 to 8 days. And during this time I'm recording a few of my videos, not only the business one like this one, a few private one for my private YouTube channel as well. But if you are the first time on my channel, a big welcome from my side. It's a pleasure for me to see you here, and if you like this style, then please give me a thumbs up for this video, and it would be a pleasure to see you as my new subscriber, so please subscribe my channel. But now, time for the content about domain takeover. Okay, we want to talk about a domain takeover. So what is a domain? A domain is normally a name, and then there is this corresponding IP, and this is done via DNS. But a domain is not only this name to IP thing. You have different things like MS codes for mail, you have CNAMEs, so you have aliases, you have forwarding capabilities, and so on. So we have a bunch of functionalities around this pure domain name to IP thing, and this is exactly where all these attacks can come from, but step by step. So we spoke about domains, we spoke a little bit about subdomains. A subdomain is something like mywebapp.domain.com, and maybe I have there some dedicated service, some app. And if I'm owning the IP in the subdomain, the DNS entry, then it's not so easy to grab this subdomain. But if I have this DNS entry and I'm forwarding all requests to something that is hosted somewhere, for example, I'm using Heroku and deploying there an app, and then I have this webappname.heroku.com. Everything is fine. So my DNS is my web app, mydomain.com, redirecting to webapp.heroku.com. But if I'm canceling this, switching to a different provider, I don't need this web app anymore, then I forget the Heroku thing, but maybe I'm not changing the CNAME or this DNS entry. If I'm able to find something like this, I can now go to Heroku and install an application with exactly this web name, webappname.heroku.com, and then I can do several things. I can, for example, provide services for the company. I can use this for creating an email server that is maybe whitelisted inside my own domain, and. So I can use this subdomain to provide several services, or to provide things that are whitelisted in my original domain, and so I can bypass a lot of different services. So subdomain attacks or subdomain takeovers can happen. It's very limited to this, what was possible with a subdomain, but it's quite easy to do if I'm using services that are hosted out somewhere, and I can just re-register with the same app name and then the same domain. Okay, we spoke about subdomain takeover, but now what is a domain takeover? So a domain takeover is if the owner of a domain is not renewing the domain and it's just free again. That means if a company had different domains and now letting some domains free, someone else can register. So first of all, the easy thing, if you're in business or in private and you're doing something with a domain, if you're owning a domain once, never ever giving it free again. Okay, so that's the other thing. But on the other side, what happens? So inside your infrastructure, you're using this domain maybe for whitelisting services and all this stuff, so whatever it's there. And it means if you are getting free one of this domain, somebody else can exactly register this domain again, and then can offer a lot of different services. And I will go now step by step through different attack vectors that are possible with this completely takeover domain, or this domain takeover in general. And yeah, we will see. It's a broad topic. Okay, now I want to discuss a little bit domain takeover with deep links, or deep link attacks. So what does it mean is you can have in applications a composition of applications. So you have an application, and this application is loading parts from other applications, not only via database, I mean really in graphical user interface, parts of the application. And this framing is done with these deep links. For example, we have this URI, it means protocol and then domain and all this, so that you're requesting the holding application. And then the parameter is maybe an URL to different domain, where normally this part of the application was running. If I'm not able to grab this domain and I'm losing, or I'm not removing all configurations with this allowed domain, I can now deliver parts through this main application. I can use this for login purpose, I can use this to deliver or phishing or whatever information. Okay, so this is one thing. If there's a composition with this way of redirecting or delegating or resource direction, then yeah, I have to make sure if I'm getting rid of this external domain that all configurations are done. Otherwise, I have something that's bleeding into my application. Okay, talking about MX record. So if I have an email server on different domains because a company was acquired, and then we are adding this MX record first, and then we are getting rid of it and all this stuff. So different possibilities why we are losing these old domains, or we don't need it anymore. And if this MX record is still there, what you can do is you can own this old domain, reactivate a mail server, and then sometimes you will get old emails. You can send emails with this old domain. You are in this let's say secured environment. You can use this for single sign-on. You can reuse it for password resetting and all these other things. So with this old MX record and delivering a new mail server under this MX report, you're opening a door to a bunch of different attacks. Okay, if I'm able to get this email server up and running, I can do a bunch of phishing attacks, because if I have that old domain, I can send to internal networks, or I can get access to internal networks, because this domain is still registered as whitelisting. People that are reading this one, seeing that this is from old valid domain, so it's mostly easier to get these phishing attacks, and the email server itself can be configured in a way that's not declared as spam or phishing. So this old domains that are integrated in this construction is quite a tricky thing, and should be cleared up as soon as possible. Okay, one thing is social media hacks. That means if I'm delivering with an old MX record and email server, and I have social media accounts, LinkedIn, Twitter, Slack, whatever, it could be possible that I just start this password recovery process and will be able to take over these social media accounts. And so this attack is quite common, and it's more or less easy to do if I'm the owner of an old domain with an MX record. And now we are talking about this classical website copying thing, so it's a phishing attack. So if I have this old domain and I'm just open up again a web server with maybe a copy of this content from the original one, so if you switch to a new domain, or you are able to find with a Wayback Machine, an old instance or whatever. So you can deliver the wrong information. You can try to get people typing in the username, password. You can try to use this as delivery platform for malware and so on and so on. So having an old website with the CI of the original owner can be a very powerful tool, and it's opening a bunch of different possibilities. And the bad thing is, the owner of this one, or the old owner that is now migrate to a new domain or whatever, will get all this damage, more or less. Okay, if I'm owning now this domain, I can deliver stuff, but on the other side, I can just listen. So what's possible? So if this old whitelisted domain can be requested by other applications, users, whatever, so mostly applications, and then if I'm listening, I can extract from this request access tokens, passwords, whatever sensitive information, redirection information, and so on and so on. So I can get a lot of information that I can use for new attacks against this other systems or this actual system. So sometimes it's just good to listen on all ports on a new domain to see who's requesting, what are the information that are coming, and so what technologies are used, and so on and so on. Yeah, single sign-on. Single sign-on is a nice thing, so you can improve your security, but on the other side, if the single sign-on is with a whitelisted domain that you're not owning anymore, then what can you do? You can just ramp up this instance, and you can authenticate again this whitelisted domain, and then you have access to company internal networks, for example, because you can say, okay, administrator at this whitelisted domain that is now my domain, please verify, and then the single sign-on say, oh yes, all good, this is whitelisted domain, you're Mr. Admin, and go. And this can be in a way that you can fake a bunch of users based on this old domain. So this old whitelisted domains, and the integration in single sign-on can be a huge thing, or can be a huge door that's opened, and then you have access to a bunch of different services, not only one dedicated, because single sign-on mostly, if activated, is used for a bunch of services inside big corporations. So slowly it's time to go. I have to leave this area here because my camp for tonight is approximately half an hour in this direction. So I'm leaving, and I hope the light is enough for the video recording. But I want to explain a little bit about a prominent example of what's going on these days. We are in the mid of 2022, and NPM and domain takeover is a hot topic right now. With NPM and the NPM registry, what you have these entries, and they have a name, and you have an email address, or maybe an URL. And if you are able to take over the domain, then you can re-authenticate, and more or less then you are the maintainer of this project. And from the JFrog research team, we scanned a bit these repositories and found over 3,000 vulnerable packages inside the NPM system. And it means that all this are, you can hijack this with a domain registration, start an email server, and then you're re-authenticating against this NPM registry. And painful thing is that you're then more or less a maintainer. So if you're one maintainer and you have a bunch of other maintainers, then it's not so easy to do it. But a lot of these packages are just maintained by one person, and a few of them are not really actively maintained. Some of them are maybe just dead projects, but a few of them has really high downloads. So what happens? You're just being the new maintainer, you are making the next version, and then you start bringing in malicious packages or malicious code. And this is right now a big thing. So the NPM community is working on this one, so I will cover this in a few minutes. But right now we have thousands of vulnerable packages, and sometimes with really high downloads. So the high thing what we found was over 30 million downloads. So it means a high download rate per week. And if you are offering a new version, I think you will get a bunch of them. So domain takeover in the NPM universe is a hot topic right now. Okay, what can I do now if I'm in this NPM universe? So the best thing what you can do is using two-factor authentication. And if you're in a bunch with some other people, so if you're in a group of developers, make sure that all maintainers or everybody that's able to change code will have two-factor authentication activated, because then this domain takeover is not possible, because you need the corresponding mobile device. Okay, that's one thing. The community is working on different mechanics to protect it, but we are now in 2022, June, July. It's a hot topic, and if you see suspicious activity, so from an NPM package, what you're using, a longer time no activity, and then you have new commits or whatever, maybe it's worth to check what is a diff, so what's the change in this code. And yeah, otherwise, stay tuned, what's going on there. And yeah. Okay, we're at the end of this video. It was a pleasure for me to see you here, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. It would be a pleasure for me to see you there. And what I'm doing is next, well, I have to go there straight to my camp because the sun is going down. I think I have half an hour, 3/4 maybe left. It's time to start my fire, cook a little bit, and then with a cup of tea in front of a fire, we'll just enjoy the night here in the Swedish woods. If you like this style, check out my YouTube channel. I will, yeah, tomorrow record the next one, because now I'm here on a 7 to 8 day hiking trip, recording a bunch of videos. It would be a pleasure to see you there, and yeah, on my channel. That's all what I can say. So whatever day and time you're watching this, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Stay safe and see you.